Okay,
Cool.
and you're going to hear, I hope you don't hear, we have saws and buzzes and hammers, and there's so much craziness in the background right now. So I hope that doesn't distract you. And dogs barking because they're freaking out.
Oh, no, you are totally fine. Right now I can't hear anything, so you are just fine.
Okay, good.
And also, I always like to mention, if at any point in time you have a question in our training, and I'm just on a roll, don't hesitate to interrupt me, because I'm the kind of person where if I don't ask my question right when I have it, I'm going to forget it. So I totally am okay if you have any questions as we're going through the training.
That you're aligned that way as well. It'll be just one of those little clouds.
Exactly. You're like, I know I had something I need to ask, and I know it was so important, but it's totally gone now.
How was your weekend?
Oh, it was so good. How was your weekend?
How was my weekend? It was lovely. I'm so excited getting ready for Christmas. It is so fun.
Oh, you had your board meeting, didn't you?
I did last Thursday. It went so well.
How did that go?
They're all really excited. They're all really, really excited for this. This is just going to be a game changer for us. And
wonderful.
They're all looking forward to us moving on in a direction that is manageable for our members and just so much less frustrating, and it's all good stuff. So I was just on a meeting with the education committee right before I called in for you, and same thing. There's just going to be so many things that we're able to do that we haven't been able to do. Just even having an education newsletter, like all of those kind of things that just were not being served that way. So
awesome. It's exciting. Awesome. Very cool.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and learn a little bit about what the product can do today. This is really just going to be an introduction to the system. We are going to dive into detail a little bit on financials, but overall it's just going to be recovering some of the initial settings that I would have needed to set up for you guys to make sure everything's looking the way it should. Okay?
Okay.
Awesome. So when you log into the back end of the website, this is the screen that you'll end up seeing. It's got a couple of different dashboards on it, really just recapping some of the items that you can go into more detail on in the system. So what you see here is really just a snapshot of what the system can do. It's just giving you a quick overview. The first item for you to look at is our membership dashboards. So we've got your current membership rosters. This will list your member type, which is the full member, and how many individuals are in that member type. Now, over time, you'll be able to watch your members move from an active status. Which I want to talk to you a little bit about the gray status again to see if you want a gray status, we can go ahead and add that. To move to a gray status, if they are out of that gray status, then they'll move into a lapsed status. So once they're in a lapsed status, it means that they are no longer able to log in. They can't access the member resources, take advantage of member type pricing, or anything like that. So you'll be able to watch your members kind of move from status to status. Right now, it would just be active to lapsed. You also have prospect profiles, which right now you have 2,597. There's all kinds of things we can do with these guys. If I select this number, it's going to pull them into the prospect profile view, and you can email them from here, export them from here. There's tons of things that we can do from the profile list, which we'll get back to in just a little bit.
Can I just ask you a quick question in regards to the prospects?
Of course.
So, thank you. They were referred to in Star Chapter as non-members.
Mm-hmm.
And all of those emails that we had this whitelisting. Bullshit, basically. I don't even know what it was. I couldn't understand it. Basically, Star Chapter, we had these names in our email database. I would check all members and non-members whenever I would send out an email. But when it was filtered through this whitelisting, we would be able to send about 647 emails total from the member list and non-member list combined. So all of the prospects that we have do not have to go through a filtering process with member clicks.
So there's a lot of filtering that you can do.
And we can talk about it later if you want to get into that at another time.
Yeah, we're going to talk a little bit more about how we can use our advanced search tool to search the members that we have in here, including prospects. Prospects are technically, if I go back to that home page, they are technically a non-member. I don't know why that keeps doing that. It's okay. We'll get through it.
Yeah, we will. But yeah, I hope it doesn't bother you. I'm just trying to ignore it.
I just can't figure out where it's coming from.
Here,
How about now? Can you hear me?
Now, here's the thing. I'm going to put you on mute on my phone and just listen to you through the computer.
Okay.
So I'll just unclick whenever, if you have something to ask me, or I'll be paying attention. But I think that reverb is coming through having both going at the same time. So,
yeah, that might be the case. And if it's easier for you, there's a chat box that you can chat questions into. We can talk too, like if you want to just interrupt really fast, but that could help. Do you see the able?
Okay, I'm on mute. I'm going to go now.
Okay, that sounds good. Okay. Yeah, that made a huge difference. So I'm texting in the little chat box, and I said, "Are you able to see this chat?" And so I'll be keeping my eye out for that. If you have any questions, of course, feel free to unmute yourself. But there's definitely no perfect. You're still listening. Awesome. Cool beans. Okay. So we were talking about, I wanted to answer your question as far as we do have prospects, which is kind of like a built-in non-member member type. Those prospects will be able to filter. So I'll show you what kind of items we can filter by in just a little bit. That'll help, I think. There is not an automated filter to these. One thing, though, that I did want to point out, when you send messages, emails to your members, there will be a message reporting center that you can go back and review. Within that message reporting center, there's an area where you can see who has unsubscribed from your emails. So if you have prospects that have unsubscribed from your emails, you may just want to get rid of them, because why are they in your system at that point? And I can show you how to do that really easily, probably not on today's training, but in the future. We also have your new members in the last 90 days. This is just pulling out any new members that have joined in the last 90 days. So you can send them emails to, quickly and frequently once they've become a member, reiterating the membership benefits they're gaining by being a part of your association. So that's over here in the new members in the last 90 days area. Your event dashboards. This is going to be pulling in from your event registration forms. It's only going to hold up to 3 past events and up to 3 upcoming events. So your 3 past events will show you the name of the event, the date they were held on, how many people attended. Upcoming will show you the name of the upcoming event, the date that it will be held on, and how many people have registered so far. Once again, just a snapshot. You'll be able to see all of your events, all of your forms in our Form Center, which we'll talk about on our 3rd training. The last item that I wanted to review on this homepage are your financial dashboards. Your aged receivables is going to show you how many outstanding invoices you have, by how much money and how many days. So along the bottom here, you'll have a big bar graph if your invoices are current, 1 to 30 days past due, 31 to 60 days past due, 61 to 90 days past due, 91 plus days past due. And then lastly, we have our sales over time. This is going to show you on the right-hand side how much money you're bringing in per revenue account per month. So we'll be able to filter by revenue account. We'll be able to select any of your revenue accounts, and this line will adjust to reflect how much money came in for that revenue account per month. I'm going to take just a moment to see if you have any questions. I'm going to say any questions so far on this first piece. So once again, this is just a snapshot of information, perfect, with what's going on in the system. All right, great. The next item that I want to jump to is your settings. I'm just going to go to settings and account settings. Now, you will not have to come to this area very often. The only reason that you would need to is because once you have graduated, you're going to start calling into the help team with questions, and they will ask you for your account number. You'll always be able to find your account number in this area. You don't have to memorize it or write it down. It'll always be listed here. That's that 41427 number. It's also a great place to keep track of how many profiles you've used out of the profiles allotted in your level. So the two different types of profiles we have, what we technically call them, are custom profiles and prospect profiles. This first item, this first profiles option here, this number 337, is how many custom profiles you have, or paying member profiles. The prospect profiles would be that non-member member type that I discussed, and you have 2,597 of those. If you end up needing a larger amount of prospective profiles, you can tag on, I don't even know how many, I want to say like 15,000 or something like that for like another $25 a month. I might be totally botching the price, but I know that you don't have to totally level up to the next level just for prospects. If you end up having more prospects, you can just add on additional prospective profiles that you can use. Now, I might need to update this really quickly. In fact, I'm going to ask you to bear with me for just a second, because I want to make sure that I'm not missing anything here. So bear with me for 2 seconds. I think you might not have sent me your account settings document. I feel like you did. Hold on. I think you might not have, but that's okay. So just to confirm a few things, and you might just be able to quickly type them in. I do want to go ahead and fill out, if you could go ahead and confirm what time zone you want this product to be in. Something else that I'll need to fill in is when your members, so you're going to send your members or non-members, when you send an email from the MemberClicks product, that email is going to come from MemberClicks, and you're going to want your members to be able to respond to that email. So if we don't have some type of reply to, hey, there you are.
Yeah, is that the document that says what? Because I think I sent that to you, but I can resend it. Is it the one that says? I remember it saying time zone, but I also remember, was it the one that said what the look of the website was and that kind of stuff?
No, this one was called an account settings document. I'm just going to resend it to you. And if you can fill it.
I think I did. I filled all of them out. So hold on 1 second, because I can. If you might not even have to send it to me.
Okay.
I might. Hold on 1 second. Yeah. Got it. Oh Jesus! I'm gonna remute you.
You're fine. Yes, I'm going to say yes. If you can, well, you can hear me. If you can just resend that document if you have it. If not, you can just type in and say that you don't have it, and I can resend it to you. Okay. So basically in this area, I'm just going to be filling out, I want to make sure you can see my screen. I'm just going to be filling out when your members reply to an invoice, an email, where is that reply to email going? Oh goodness, now I've lost my, bear with me. I want to make sure, is this it? Yes. Share screen. There we go. It's just going to be the reply to email. When they reply to those emails, where are they going? And there's just a couple of other things that it's going to confirm with you as well. But you have the ability to come in here and change this at any time. So if that email, that reply to email changes, you can always dive into this account settings tab and update that. If your billing contact, this is your billing contact information, ever changes, you can dive in here and you can update that. The rest of the stuff is probably going to stay stationary. It's not really going to be changing. If you use QuickBooks or not, that's pretty set in stone. I like to leave the member number on because I, for system attribute, like to use member number, but we can always hide it from your members. So if you don't want your members to see their member number, that's something that we can hide, and I'm going to show you where we can hide that during our training today. So cool. Before I keep rocking and rolling, I'm going to see if you've had any questions. Oh, you just sent it. Perfect. You rock. All right. Okay, so I'll get back in here and I'll make sure that that's updated. The next item that I want to talk to you a little bit about is the financials. I'm going to go ahead and dive into the MemberClicks test site because we have some created invoices, some invoices that have been created in here that make it a little bit easier to follow along through the training of the financial piece. So for you, all you'll do is come to your financial tab and go to invoices. And it's going to automatically bring you to the invoice list. Now, this is what I was referring to. You don't have any invoices created in your system, so it looks a little blank. So I'm going to go ahead and dive into the MemberClicks website. Same thing. I'm going to go to Financials and Invoices. And this area will show you all of the invoices that have ever been created in the system for you. So whether those invoices are voided, open, paid, partially paid, whatever the status is, they will be in this area. So over time, you're going to wind up with a lot of invoices in here. We've made some really easy ways for you to search these invoices. First of all, the search bar in the top right-hand corner allows you to search by first name, last name, organization, or invoice number. So I can search my name. I know I have a couple of test invoices in here. We also can filter by the type of invoice that we've created, whether it was for dues renewals, it came through from a form submission, it was a credit memo, or an ad hoc or miscellaneous invoice. Uh-oh. Did I just lose you? Uh-oh. I'm going to wait just a second to make sure you can still hear me. Okay, you're still there. Perfect. Okay. All right, so I'm going to keep rocking and rolling. There. That's so strange. Okay. So looking back at the MemberClicks financials.
Sorry.
You're totally fine.
Another call was coming in, and I pushed end and accept on you and not them.
I've totally done that before. Not a problem. Okay, I just wanted to make sure you were still there.
Still here.
I just wanted to make sure I hadn't lost you.
No. I'm here.
Awesome. Okay. So continuing to move through, I mentioned that you can filter by these different invoice types. And you can also filter by invoice status, so whether the invoice is open, pending, paid, partially paid, or voided. So if I just wanted to see my paid invoices, I could select the paid button, and it's going to filter out any other status of any other invoices I have in the system. A couple of other really cool things we can do from our invoice area. So a couple of situations that might happen, somebody may call you and say, hey, I really need a receipt of my paid invoice, or hey, I just can't find the invoice that you sent me, can you resend it? It's really easy to dive in here, select an invoice that you need to resend, and you're going to hit this email button. So I've tagged and we're selecting email. It's going to bring up my default email address, so whatever email address is in my folder or I should say in my profile. You can change this if you want to send it to somewhere else, or you could add additional recipients. So I might say, hey, actually my boss is going to pay for this for me. Can you just forward it to my boss? And you can do that. You can also create a PDF. This will allow you to print off these invoices and mail through snail mail. A lot of my associations will send out all of their invoices, maybe for an upcoming conference or for dues renewals, whatever it may be, send them all out, and then a month later, if they still have, however many they still have that are open, they'll print them out and maybe send them through the mail just to confirm that their members are receiving and are having the opportunity to pay. Let's go ahead and look at one of these invoices together. To do so, I'm just going to select the invoice number. I want to look at one that's open. So I'm going to say, I don't care about my name anymore, but I do want to see just the open invoices. So I'm searching by those open invoices. And now I'm going to select the invoice number. So this is what our invoice looks like. Your invoice will look the exact same, but it will be your logo in the top right-hand corner and your association information over here in the left-hand corner. I'm going to show you in just a moment where you'll be adding in that information so that it'll reflect on the invoice. Other than that, everything else is going to look the same on your invoice. The only other item that you can change is this notes section. I'm also going to show you where you can update this information. You can add internal notes down here at the bottom. Adding an internal note, that means that only admin will be able to view that note. It would not reflect on the member's invoice that they receive. So if you voided an invoice, this would be a great place to make a little note or reminder as to why you voided the invoice. You can also download the invoice from here, void the invoice, credit the invoice, or pay the invoice. If somebody sends you a check, or maybe they call you on the phone and say, hey, I really need to make my payment, can you just take it over the phone? You can always select pay invoice, either enter in their credit card information or select offline payment. You'll probably be using this piece a good bit. At that point, you would select what type of offline payment they're creating, maybe check, add in some type of reference or check number, the date received, and you would submit that offline payment. At that time, the invoice would reflect as paid on the front end of the website. I'm going to go back to the invoice list by using that first icon that we were looking at. And that kind of is everything to do with our invoices now. We will have the ability to pull a transaction report. I have some language that I'll send you on that, some resources. But if you have an additional financial aid or financial person, or if you want an extra little 30 minutes just to review financials, we can do that in the future. I'm always open to doing just a little extra 30 minutes just all about financials because I know this is such a big piece. Now, I'm going to start talking a little bit about invoice templates. That's this next icon here, invoice templates. You would have completed and sent back to me a notifications document. And in that notifications document, you would have provided verbiage for notifications to go out with dues renewals. So dues renewals are kind of kept in their own separate bucket in MemberClicks. They're really important, so they're in their own separate space. Any other type of,
honey,
yeah,
I'm going to send those to you right now because I haven't completed it. I'll send you the notifications document right now.
Oh, awesome. Thank you. I couldn't remember off the top of my head if I had it or not. Perfect. Thanks.
No, yeah, and actually, I completed all of them, but I thought that I would send them to you. There were so many that I was confused and just thought that I would complete them and then send them to you when we were talking. So whether that
absolutely
makes sense or not.
No, it does. There are a lot. Okay. Thanks.
So I'm going to email those to you right this second.
Okay. So talking about that dues renewal notification, that's cool that you're looking at that document. That is going to be for dues renewals. Invoice templates is actually going to be for any other type of invoice that the system creates for you. So if you guys have event registrations, like if members can make donations, if you have partnerships or sponsorships, or you might just want something for miscellaneous, or if somebody takes the new member application, they're going to be having an invoice created for them that we don't have notifications for. So that notifications document you completed that you're sending to me now, that's for dues renewals. Everything else in the system, you will actually, and this is kind of like the first little part of homework from today's training, you'll need to dive in the system and create an invoice template. So I'm going to go ahead and select invoice template. We're going to do it in yours. So I would start by writing a list of all the other types of invoices the system will create for you. Then you're going to want to create an invoice template for each of those. New member is a biggie. You will definitely need one for new members. You'll determine when that due date is from the day that they submitted the form and the invoice was created. You'll need to decide when you want that invoice due date to be. Typically, I see 30 days. Footer information, that's that notes section on the form that your members will see, that first note section that we talked about. A lot of times my associations put remit payment to information in here, or if it's for a new member, thanks for your support. We look forward to building a relationship with you, something like that. Then you would just need to toggle on any of these notifications or emails that you want to go to those members. So if a new member takes your membership application and they can have an invoice created for them that they can come back and pay later, you're definitely going to want to toggle on the new invoice email, probably a reminder email, probably a past due email, and a payment confirmation email. Now, not only do you have to toggle these on, but you'll also need to select edit the email. We have a little bit of just like very general text in here, but you might want to add some additional verbiage. And you'll do this for each of those different types of invoices the system is going to create for you. Because if somebody gives you guys a donation or somebody becomes a new member, those notifications need different verbiage.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, perfect.
Thank you. So this is where I can recreate and create any kind of invoicing beyond the ones that are already pre-done.
Say that one more time.
We were discussing how membership already has the notifications that I sent you right now that has all the information for a generated membership email to go out. And all of the grace period ones and all that kind of stuff. So this area right here is where I can create new invoices depending on what the situation is.
So you're not actually creating an invoice. The invoices will be triggered either by somebody taking a form. So that might be your membership application, an event registration form. Those are going to trigger the invoice to be created. These are just the notifications, just the emails that are going to go to that member saying, hey, thanks for registering for our event. Here's your open invoice. So it's kind of doing your dirty work for you because it's chasing down the money that they need to pay versus you having to say, hey, the event's in 3 days and you still haven't paid your invoice. What the heck is going on?
Yeah. Okay,
you know what I mean?
Right. So do these have to be done for every event? Is that how that goes?
Good question. No, I would make one more general because you don't want to have to be making these invoice templates all the time. I would set one up for events. And then in the verbiage, you would just say, thanks for registering for our event.
Okay. Okay, very cool. So just making them just completely general, like you just said.
Yeah, exactly. So a little bit more of an umbrella I would use these for. Because ideally, if you
just a little bit on this page, just so I can see the top of it.
And we're at this icon.
Okay, we're at invoice templates, but this is under financials?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So yeah, so this would be something that I would want
the name of this invoice template, new member. Okay, I see it.
So I'm going to go ahead and save this one. You'll want to just edit this verbiage, potentially add some notes into that footer information section, and you'll want to create additional invoice templates for every type of invoice the system will create for you over time.
Okay, that's fantastic, but I can just go in and do these myself.
Exactly, yeah. So I would ask that you get this done. It'd be best if you could do them before our content training because these are going to end up, as you're completing these are going to end up kind of making your brain think of some questions. So when we get to the next training, we'll take 5 minutes to answer any of those questions that you have. Plus, you've now allowed yourself to retain this training before we get into more information that we're going to give you.
Okay, great. So I'm able to get into the website now.
You sure are, and I'll make sure that you have those credentials. If you should already have
Oh,
them, but I'll make
exciting.
sure I resend them. Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. Okay. All right. So you just my homework. I'm sorry. My homework is to think of and create some templates based upon this.
That's the first piece, and I'm going to send a little list of some items for you to complete in the system. They're all not going to take you too long. It's just to help with knowledge retention and, like I said, inspire some additional questions.
Okay, thank you. I'm going to mute myself now.
Awesome. One other thing that I wanted to mention with these is I mentioned that, like, if they were able to submit a form, so maybe I'm able to register for the December luncheon, and you have it so that I can come back and pay that invoice later, then yes, you would definitely want all of these on. But you may have it, most of my associations honestly have it, that they have to pay, the individual has to pay at time of completing the form. So in that case, you don't need to let me know that I have a new invoice or remind me that I have a new invoice or let me know I have a past due invoice because I already paid it. So I don't need to know that I have an invoice because it's been paid. At minimum, though, you would need to have a payment notification email because nobody likes to apply payment and poof, it's gone, right? Everybody likes to receive a confirmation email. Hey, we've received payment. Your invoice is now reflected as paid. And the only other thing I wanted to mention is any invoice that, any email that you've set up in here to go out will have the invoice attached. The system automatically attaches the invoice when these notifications go out. So all they have to do is click on the link at the bottom of the email. It's going to open up the invoice and they can hit pay now and apply payment. So how easy is that? It's really simple. Now the second little homework item I have for you, they're going to be 4 total, but they're really not bad, is invoice settings. That's this third icon. This is just going to ask for you to put in whatever organization logo you want to show up on the top right-hand corner of your invoice and whatever organization information you want to show up on the left-hand corner of your invoice. It's also going to ask what invoice number you want to start at. So you may want to start at number 100, 1,000, 5,000, whatever that is. You would just plug that number in, and that's the invoice number the system's going to pick up on when you start creating invoices in the system. So you're adding your organization logo and your organization information. These areas, items are going to show up on the invoice itself. Okay. The next item that we want to look at is revenue accounts. Your revenue accounts was part of one of those questions on your account settings document. So I'll go back and take a look at that and make sure I add them in. If you at any point in time want to add a new revenue account, all you have to do is select add new revenue account, put in the account name. You can add a description, but that's optional. If it's for dues, you're going to toggle on that it's for dues. If it's not, you'll leave it toggled off. Now you guys will have one of 2 different types of financial systems or methods. You'll either use accrual or cash-based accounting. 99% of my associations use accrual, which is the default in the system. If you find out that you guys use cash accounting, just let me know, and then in the future, whenever you create a new revenue account, you'll need to toggle on that you use cash accounting. And that's all. And then the very last piece is the payment processing.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna interrupt
you're fine. Yeah.
What are revenue accounts? I'm sorry if I don't know what that even is.
It's totally okay. So, do you guys use QuickBooks?
We don't. I have a bookkeeper, and I don't even know what she does.
Just ask your bookkeeper for your chart of accounts.
Okay.
And you
actually.
Yeah.
Okay, so my chart of accounts. Because I think she does accrual. I heard you saying that, and I'm pretty sure that that's what she does. But as far as revenue accounts go, this would just be like how we, like the different sections of how she has us separated.
Exactly.
Is it here's the thing. I don't even know if I would even use this part because she handles, I can allow her to get in here, certainly, but is it possible to just not even use this section because she manages it like aside from this?
So the reason that you would want to use this either way is because MemberClicks is going to be collecting your money. Now, in whatever financial system that she uses, she's going to have to continue. You're fine. She's going to have to continue to create the transactions as she's done previously. And if you used QuickBooks, you can export your transaction report and import into QuickBooks to reconcile your accounts. Honestly, even though the system can do this or can do that, I'd say most of my associations just prefer to keep their own separate financial system going the way they've had it going, and they just cross-check with MemberClicks. So even if you guys aren't even using this in MemberClicks, you're still using MemberClicks to collect money through the payment processor, and you still want to be able to search in the system by revenue account. You don't want all of your money just going in one big dump. You want to separate it out a little bit. Yeah.
Okay, so basically, I mean, she can just, this is the area that my head just gets spinny in, because I don't know how she does everything, but I'm sure what I can do is, once I become more familiar with the system, is I can just walk her through this aspect. She can check in and see. Like right now with Star Chapter, I can see through, they call it meetings, and there's a registration aspect, and there's like how much money you've collected and how much money is still out for each event, for each meeting. So I think that this is probably similar in some ways, but I'll just have to, this part is the only part that so far is making my head just a little bit like, I don't even know how to do this, but we'll figure it out as we go along.
I'm used to that. And so that individual that you have, that financial person that you have, feel free to get with her. And if you guys want to throw 30 minutes on my calendar, we can do just a 30-minute review of the financial piece, and I can kind of
be great.
Just schedule 30 minutes, and I can explain to her. If you go to her though and you say, hey, I need a chart of accounts, she'll know exactly what you're talking about, and she'll send it to you, and you'll be able to just forward it to me, and then I can just enter them in. And that way we can say, okay, this money came in because of events. This money came in because of member dues. This money came in because of sponsorships. Instead of having it all in just one big lump sum, we have it broken up a little bit.
Yeah, she sends me monthly a financial, like, Excel sheet that has every section where we do collect money, like the different, like women's networking, emerging leaders, like different sections that we have that hold their own events. So that's probably what it is.
It sounds like it. That's exactly what it sounds like.
Okay, yeah. It's like, we have like the golf outing, like things, different areas where the money is coming in for, where we have budgeted what's going to come in and what does come in for the end of the year. Is that sound like what it is?
Yeah, that does sound like what it is. Exactly.
Okay, cool. Very cool.
Awesome.
Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, Adrienne. I have these dogs that are freaking out. Okay, they keep on crying at the door, and then they want to go out, and then they want to come in. They
I can't even hear them.
There's people everywhere.
Oh. You're so fun.
Yeah, they're so precious. Do you have dogs?
I do not. I am in an apartment, and so I don't really have a yard that they could play in. But the second that I have a yard, I will have all of the dogs. They're my little joys. These are the first dogs I've had in my adult life. And they're our sweet little fur babies. But these guys we got them because I was previous to the home that we're in right now, living in an apartment. And the breed is called Havanese. And they were called the perfect apartment dog. Oh my goodness.
They don't require large amounts of exercise because they're small. They like walks, but they don't need a huge yard. They're precious and perfect. But anyway, that's if you couldn't stand it, you wanted to get one sooner.
Oh, that's absolutely good to know. I'm a big dog lover. We've always had boxers in my family growing up. And so, which is really sad because we have a boxer and he's 9. And every time I go home, he's just gotten more gray and he is so sassy. He's getting to be such a grumpy old man. And so because we've always had boxers, I'm like, I want a boxer.
Yeah.
They're just so sweet and loving and so precious, but they're special.
Addie, our youngest daughter, my husband has 3 girls and I have 3 boys. It's a combined family, but she just rescued a boxer, and his name is Porter. He is just beautiful, just beautiful. I will try to email you the picture of him in front of her fireplace with their stockings, and she just got him this summer, and I can't even. I have chills all over my body because they are so in love.
I would love to see.
He's 4.
Yes.
He's 4. So he's in between. So he's still puppy enough, and he's absolutely precious. He's just a beautiful boy.
Oh,
they're so fantastic.
They are the sweet, and they're so good with kids, and they're they're high energy, but they're also they can also be very relaxed, and that's always been what we've, although we ended up accidentally sort of rescuing a terrier. She's a terrier mix, and because we'd always had boxers, we got this terrier, and it's like, holy cow, this dog is insane.
They are those little rascals. They want to keep it.
Exactly. Exactly, they do. Terriers are absolutely full of energy, loving, but full of energy. And Mason's the boxer's name. He's older, and he's like, I don't know about this girl. He's like, I don't know about having her around. I'm not ready for it. And we're like, she's been here for 2 years now, Mason. You're gonna have to just chill out about it.
But you know what? That's the thing too. That might keep him going a little bit longer. That other little, energy shot gives them reasons to stick around too. So, yeah.
Exactly. I think you're right.
Yes,
exactly. Yeah, me too. Because especially my parents work so much, so he had to be home by himself a lot. So I know he liked being an only child, but I think he has really appreciated having the extra company.
So are you going home for Christmas?
I am. I'll be going home the 20th, so I'll get to spend Christmas with them.
Good.
Yes, it's always fun.
Are you leaving? Hold on 1 second then. Okay. Yeah, George just won't stop crying. Like he cries if he's in, he cries if he's out. And, I'm sorry. It's mayhem around here.
You're totally good.
Okay. All right, I'm going to mute myself again. I'm sorry for that little pause in the action, but I'll mute again, and we'll go back to task. So we're in the chart challenge, and I'm going to talk to Karen, and I know what we're talking about. And I could send you the financial document if you need that. I mean, I can get that to you even without her.
I would just make sure, hey, Karen, are these the chart of accounts that I need to provide the member clicks? I would just double check with her before you send them.
Okay.
But it sounds like it. Okay.
Okay. And then, I mean, if she can do a half hour with us, I'm sure that'd be great, because before I had her, so I started with the Electric League last December, and I took care of the finances until March. And I seriously thought that I was going to lose my mind. I couldn't. I can't. There's things I'm good at. There's things I'm not.
It's a whole different. It's a whole different world.
And I don't even try. I don't even try, Adrian. I don't even try to go there because I just know my anxiety is going to go through the roof. You mentioned taking care of somebody else's money for me. Nah, I'm going to screw it up and go to jail.
I totally get it. I'm the same way as you. Financials are and I've learned enough to recognize what I need to recognize, but it's a different language for sure.
Yeah, not mine. Okay, dear, I'm going to mute now.
Okay. I've only got.
We have about 10 more minutes, huh?
Yeah, we've got about 10 more minutes. I've got the last 2 pieces of homework that I want to go over with you really quickly. And I'm going to, once again, like I mentioned, I'm going to provide these in my follow-up email. I've got some additional resources to help you get them completed. Plus, I'm going to send you the recording. So you'll have the tools that you need to go back and do those items. So from the financial piece, you'll complete the invoice templates, the invoice settings. Now we're going to change the way we're thinking a little bit, and we're going to talk about attributes. So an attribute is just a piece of information that helps describe your members. It'll be held in their profile. My name's Adrienne, my name being an attribute of who I am. We have 3 different types of attributes in our system. To access them, we're going to go to our database tab and attributes. So I mentioned that we have 3 different types of attributes in our system. We have built-in attributes. Those are the items that you see on my page or on my screen right now. A built-in attribute is just a piece of information we know that you guys collect on your members because we've seen it collected on your members across the 1,800 plus associations we've worked with. Things like first name, last name, physical address, email address, phone number, organization name. So here are those built-in attributes. Now, we can't get rid of these. We have to have these in the system, but you can manipulate them a little bit. So what that means is for email addresses, physical addresses, and phone numbers, you can collect up to 5 different types of any of these items per member. So you could have 5 email addresses, 5 physical addresses, 5 phone numbers. Usually the most frequent I see this use, like this component used for, is phone numbers. So if we select edit settings, right now it looks like you've just collected like a home, which is probably just like a main. Our default label is called home, but you may over time want to collect a work phone number, a cell phone number, a secondary phone number, maybe a spouse's phone number. And now we've hit that limit. This is all 5 that we can collect. So you can do this for physical addresses and email addresses as well. But right now you just have a single that you've collected, so we can just leave that as is. I'm going to hit cancel. So those are our built-in attributes. Then we have system attributes. Those are pieces of information the system uses to keep track of your members' membership period and how much they owe you in dues. We'll be able to see that when we review your members' profiles on our next call. But that's going to be things like member type, member number, expiration date, last renewal date, join date, things that the system is keeping track of. The last area that we have are custom attributes. So that's at the bottom of our screen. These are custom fields that we wouldn't have known you needed to collect on your members. So we're creating custom fields to collect that information for you. Now we can change this as your membership grows or as you guys change as an association. If one day you go, I should have really been collecting birth date, my members' birth dates, you can always add a custom attribute and create a field for your members to add that information into. Now, custom attributes and built-in attributes will be used when we go through our forms training, when we create forms together. These fields will communicate with the forms. So if you will put these on a membership application, and when the membership application is filled out, it's going to recognize that these are built-in or custom attributes, take that information from the membership application and store it in the member's profile. So we're going to talk more about this. We're going to talk about attributes on pretty much every phone call that we have. Now, the 2 items that I would like for you to try to complete is attribute security and profile owner attribute security. Profile owner attribute security is when your members log into the system, they're greeted with a personalized member landing page. In that member landing page, they can update their own information. So in the past, maybe somebody had an email address change. They had to email you. You had to go in their profile and update it. Now they have the ability to update that information themselves if you want them to. So there may be some fields you don't want them to edit. There may be some fields you don't want them to even see at all. I have a lot of associations that'll have an internal notes custom attribute that they'll hide from their members so only admin can see it. So what you would do is determine, okay, if my member is a full member and they're in their profile, what do I want them to be able to edit, view, or what's hidden altogether from them? So we've got this legend on the left-hand side where you can determine, you can decide which of those are applicable. You could toggle all. Maybe you can say, oh yeah, they can edit anything. But I do want to point out, if they can edit anything, down here at the bottom, we have our system attributes, expiration date, join date. Nobody should ever be able to edit system attributes, right? Because nobody should be able to change their join date, expiration date, member status, member type, username, maybe they can update their username. And member number, that's where if you don't want them to see their member number, if you guys don't use it, you can just make it so that it's hidden. So that would be the big important thing here, is to keep note of these items at the bottom. As an admin, you can do whatever you want in your own profile, so you can edit all across the board. Now, prospects technically do not have a profile. Technically, prospects will never be able to have a profile, view their own profile, or any of that. But this also goes into play with data merge fields. So if you send out an email to all your members and you say, "Dear data merge field first name," if you don't make it so that prospects can see their first name, they're going to get the email and it's going to say "Dear blank," which looks awful, right? It looks not great. So I always just say, allow prospects to see everything, because they'll never have a profile that they can view, or anybody else's profile they can view. But you don't ever want to have to worry about that those data merge fields not merging in. So this is profile owner attribute security. I pretty much did this for you, but if you want to come in here and make any additional edits, I would love for you to go ahead and do that. The second piece to this is attribute security. So not only can I view my own profile, but I can also view other members' profiles, maybe for networking purposes, or you may need a public-facing directory for some reason. This is where you'll determine who gets to see what information in other people's profiles. So as an admin, once again, you can see and edit whatever you want because you're an admin. But what about the full members? What can full members see in other full members' profiles, see in admin profiles? And they shouldn't be able to see anything in prospect profiles. Prospects don't have a profile, but you don't have to worry about toggling anything here. Prospects, should prospects be able to see any of the full members' information? Should the public be able to see anything in the full members' information? If not, you can leave these as is. And the only one that you would really need to complete is this one for full members. So this looks the same as profile owner attribute security. We've just added in a new drop-down menu. Now I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and I'm going to stop our recording so